Halloween.
Forever.
Steven, my boy, how are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing good, Brian. How's you doing?
Yeah, all right. I'm doing all right.
Good.
Got one for you.
Uh-oh.
Ready?
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
What did the fisherman say to the magician?
What did
Steven, I'll repeat that one more time. Give you a sec to think about it. What did the fisherman say to the magician?
I don't know. I can only think of what the fisherman said to the record producer. And that was...
Which was what?
I got a great hook for you.
Nope, not that. Not the premise. Not the premise for this joke. Steven, last chance. What did the fisherman say? Wait, what was the joke again? Because all I could think of was record producer. The magician. I keep saying, I want to say record producer. What did the fisherman say to the record producer? I don't care about. What I really want to know is what he said to the magician. And the answer, of course, is pick a cod, any cod.
Yeah.
Boils and ghouls to a long way for not a lot of payoff minisode of Halloween's Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Steve.
Yeah, you really got me. You threw me off there. You're injecting other jokes into my joke. You're not even punching it up. You're just asking for different jokes / riddles.
Yep.
I'm be honest with you. Don't think that was going to land no matter what. That's okay, because we got one of them old-fashioned motion picture films to discuss this evening. But before we do all that, Steven, are you sipping? Are you slurping on a little brewski tonight?
I am slurping on a brewski, but it's a brewski I've had in the past, so it's nothing too terribly new. Yeah, I'm finishing up. I found a straggler of one of those Nitro 3 Philosophers quadruple ales that's made with the cherries and the barrels and all that shit.
Oh, sure, yeah. Getting down on a little Zoom juice this evening. So that one's like a 10-12%er, huh?
9.7.
Oh, okay. Pretty low for a quad. Yeah. All right. Well, I too am drinking a beer that I am apt to drink quite frequently on the podcast. Steven, I'm drinking on a little beer. Can I give you a little hint?
Is it?
Little peek?
Oh,
little peek.
Oh, I seen it. I seen it.
It's Pilsner Kel. Guys, listen, when the fall comes around, the Cryptor Kel comes to life. And your boy is drinking on some good old-fashioned Pilsner. Now, I have been drinking on a lot of seasonal brewskis, been getting after some Oktoberfests as of late. I had another beer. I grabbed a variety pack, the Sam Adams Fall Variety Pack. They always do a nice job with those variety packs. Mm-hmm. This year, they have a Dunkel in it, which is nice. That was that Flana one, which I drank on the podcast before. The Jacko, which I've confessed my love for in the past as a really kind of full flavor but very sessionable ABV pumpkin ale. They added and the Oktoberfest, which is not my favorite Oktoberfest. I don't know why I went Mario with that which is none of my favorite.
None of my favorite. But I don't love it.
It's not necessarily my favorite, but it's good. And then the new beer, which I actually don't remember what they replaced, but was they have a new Helles. Which was quite nice as well. And I almost drank the Helles for this here show, but I said, you know what? That's not very spooky. Neither is Pilsner Kel. What I did buy that I was going to drink for the show is a 6-pack of, because I think we both purchased that Angry Orchard Friday the 13th.
I haven't got to it yet. I didn't.
I thought you bought it too.
No.
Well, I did, and I drank them all. And I liked almost all of them except for the berry one. It was fart. But the other ones were good. And especially I think it was just called like Headless Pumpkin or something. It was just the pumpkin cider.
Right. Yeah.
It was delicious. They don't sell it, as far as I know, at least in our market, on its own. So I was like, I want a pumpkin cider. I just want a straight up pumpkin cider. So I went to Save on Beer. And I saw they had 6 packs of Mackenzie's pumpkin cider. I haven't had a Mackenzie cider in years and years and years, but it was just a straight up 6-pack of pumpkin cider. I said, let me try this. I cracked one last night. Hoo boy. It was, when I say cloying, it was like disgustingly sweet.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to think because I know I haven't had a Mackenzie's in a long time. And I think one of the last Mackenzie's I had was a black cherry, and it was just icky.
Yeah, this was just like teeth achingly sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I like, and it didn't even have a very good character on its own, even without the sweetness. Like the pumpkin's character I didn't like. I tried to pawn it off on Kate because she does tend to like things a little sweeter. She was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
So I got 5 more of those that are going to sit in the fridge until my Halloween party, and then I'll put them in the coolers, and somebody will drink them.
Sick.
So that's how your boy ended up on good old fashioned Pilsner. Kel, let me take a little slurp. You want to listen to it? Ready? That's freshy.
Sounds normal.
Yeah, just regular. Okay, Steven, what do we got to talk about at the top of the show? Anything abnormal here that we need to talk about? Are we gonna talk about our guest situation for next month's Wheel O Ween?
So I'm going to talk a bit in code about the guest situation because we announced last week that Big Ween Ben was going to make his return.
Sure.
And then I was going to hopefully announce another guest this week. Unfortunately, I can't announce a guest this week.
Okay.
And this is going out to specifically a lot of our old heads and a lot of our patrons. They know the guest they wanted because they've been telling me to get said guest.
Sure.
And I unfortunately have to break the news that said guest will not be on the Showdown episode, but guest will be sometime in October. So don't give up, don't give up on that, but guest cannot make Showdown episode.
Understood.
So, if you know kind of situation, you can still, they can still get excited. But we do have to still procure a 4th guest for our Wheel O Ween October Showdown. That's the update on that. And I just haven't had time to get that guest, but hopefully maybe next week. And we do have a 5th Monday in September. So we still have time to announce movies and announce more guests coming up in the month.
Okay. All right. Stay tuned for more news about the big Wheel O Ween episode coming up next month. Our biggest episode of the year. It's always a lot of fun.
I can also talk about, because so we're doing the Wheel O Ween again, and that means all the movies on the Wheel O Ween are Halloween themed. And I saw a movie come up that is set at Halloween time, and for some reason, maybe your brain has this information locked away. There's a movie that's called Diced. It's die apostrophe CED, Diced. Yeah. And it stars a scarecrow guy. And I think it's called like Diced Remixed or Rehashed or Remastered or some shit like that.
Okay.
And I think that recently just came out on the streaming services, and it's getting added to the wheel. But it felt like we had some sort of connection to that film at some point. Like we tried to watch the original version, and then it got taken off streaming to get re-edited and put up. But what was that connection also through Louis? Was that like a movie he suggested we watch?
Boy, yeah, the original one from 2003. That does sound familiar. Was it a Louis situation? Was it another filmmaker that we talked about?
It might have been.
The original one was just not a short, but it was not like entirely feature length. Yeah, is what I'm seeing here. It was 50 minutes. It was released in 2023, and then Diced Reloaded.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, is 2025, and that is feature length. So, but you might be right. That might have been a Louis suggestion. But I'm hoping that the Scarecrow talks like Andrew Dice Clay, and it's Dice.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that would be the best.
He's like, he's calling people like pig-tated animals and stuff like that. Any younger listeners out there who don't know who Andrew Dice Clay is, just Google it and just watch a little bit of it, and you're gonna go, "How did this guy exist on this planet?" I mean, it's a character, right? It's not a regular human. It's like a Larry the Cable Guy, right? It's a guy who's doing this character. The character is wild, and you can't even believe it existed.
Impossible, and just an impossible character. I loved to. This was like not. I don't know. When I golfed, I wasn't a good golfer. I was terrible.
Yeah.
But
sure.
I had to fuck around with my other friends, so they also were bad.
Yeah.
So sure. I would just do Dice Clay bits in their backswing.
That is a funny thing to do during somebody's backswing.
Yeah.
I stick to like farting. I think farting during somebody's backswing is never not funny.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think, but, I mean, farting's great, but I mean, just getting, so I was online at the bank, and then you stop the bit. And when they go into their backswing, and this chick had her tongue up my ass.
Yeah. He's like, it's like if Glenn Danzig's like, how when you see Dumber, just like more vocal, even more New Jersey cousin decided to do stand up. That is what Andrew Dice Clay is.
Yeah.
Hickory dickory dock. Yeah.
This chick was sucking my cock. Oh,
we would always do that. It was never funny. It was just like the most juvenile shit ever.
Yeah.
And I think people like are rediscovering it a little bit now, but laughing more at it than with it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a couple people post stuff about Andrew Dice Clay recently, and I think it's just the younger generation is being introduced to the insanity that was Andrew Dice Clay.
It is a baffling.
He was like a phenomenon. For a while.
Yeah, I mean, he sold out like Madison Square Garden in the 80s and 90s. Like that's insane for a comic to do. But at the same time, he was like I mean, I don't think he'll ever give up the kayfabe of it, but he was like a Andy Kaufman type character, because he is just like he started as like, he's just kind of this Jewish guy from New York who adopted this Italian stereotype from New Jersey, and it got unimaginably big because it just played with stupid people. Like stupid people loved it. And they would love just going to his shows to recite his own poems back at him about sucking dick.
Yeah, it was. It is. It's honestly, I think it's closer to Larry the Cable Guy because it catered to like the lowest common denominator type of audience.
Yeah.
And he had catchphrases and that sort of stuff. He was not nearly as intelligent or subversive as Andy Kaufman. It was like, he had catchphrases and everybody recited his catchphrase, and it was just like, played to. What
was Andy Kaufman's second character that was also played by Bob Zamuda? Because
the lounge lizard guy.
Yeah, because that guy comes out every
the singer.
Yeah, because that guy came out every now and then after Andy died, and so everybody thought Andy was still alive, but it was actually Bob Zamuda doing it. But like,
I'll think of the name. It's I'd have to do my ABC trick and go through the alphabet to come up with the name, which I'm not going to do live on the air here.
Tony Clifton.
Tony Clifton. I see. That's one of those ones where once I got to T, I would have went Tony Clifton.
Yeah.
Because he's hilarious.
Yeah, but Tony Clifton was like the base, kind of crass version of what Andy Kaufman was doing. So like that, in that case, that's very similar to Dice Clay. But
agreed.
If you're younger and you have a stomach for that, you can watch it through the lens of like, what the fuck were people on in the 80s and 90s? But like, it's not funny. It's not funny like Carlin was. It's not funny the way like Richard Pryor was. It's just this weird anomaly that happened for 20 years and then stopped.
I think the reason let's just belabor this the entire episode. I think the reason that we're seeing the Andrew Dice Clay thing a little bit more in the zeitgeist is there is, for those of you who follow stand-up comedy at all, there is a divisive kind of sect of stand-up comedy right now that is based in Austin, Texas. That is that kind of focuses on and around Tony Hinchcliffe, who is the insult comic that's been around for a while. He's like a roast comic, insult comic. Yeah. And he has a show called Kill Tony that's like wildly popular amongst like bros. And it's sometimes there's funny people on it. It is a lot of like edgelordy, like it's hilarious to say racist things. You know what I mean? Like that's really the vibe. It's typically not the most clever or high quality or certainly not highbrow comedian in the world, but they do have funny people on there from time to time. And there's this guy right now who is essentially doing I'm Andrew Dice Clay, but stupid and bad at comedy. That's like his character. Oh, great. And he's called Timmy No Breaks. and he's literally just doing Andrew Dice Clay to a generation that probably doesn't know who Andrew Dice Clay is. Yeah. But he's it's kind of like a self-deprecating, I'm a stupid loser version of Andrew Dice Clay. Ugh. Yeah. So I think that's I get the feeling that's what's maybe bringing it a little to the forefront. He does the voice. He wears like a leather jacket. Like he looks like a thrift store self-deprecating version of Andrew Dice Clay. Yeah.
But I used to watch that like in its real early inception when Bill I think I watched it because like Bill Burr was on episodes. And, I love Bill Burr.
Yeah. I mean, they have big people on there. Yeah. Dave Attell's been on there. Like everyone's been on there with time. But the thing that really like it started to take on a life of its own and kind of go in this very like right wing direction. And then I think that culminated with Tony Hinchcliffe performing at like a Trump inauguration thing or something. Yeah. And then that got a bunch of press. And it's anyway. It's most of the time become completely untenable, but anyway, full circle Andrew Dice Clay moment. I don't even remember how we got on the topic of Andrew Dice Clay. Oh, we were talking about Diced.
We're talking about Diced the Scarecrow movie, which will be on the Wheel O Ween. Because now it
will be on the Wheel O Ween, bringing it full circle, guys. Wheel O Ween next month. We have time to put more movies on there. We will not have a regular Showdown episode next month because we're doing the Wheel O Ween. But normally we do Showdown every Monday, first Monday of the month. We do an episode every goddamn Monday. If you're new to the podcast and you're joining us because perhaps it's around spooky season time, you're looking for some Halloween shit and you found us on the interwebs, go follow us over on the social medias. I've been doing, we collectively have been doing a slightly better job of posting on the interwebs as of late. I started, spending a little more time back on the Instagrams and things. Picked a terrible time to do that because the last couple of days. Been real rough. Been real rough out there on the internet. But we post, spooky ooky shit all year long, talking about horror movies, talking about shit like that. So follow us at Halloween is Forever on all the things. If you want to send us one of those old-fashioned emails because you've jumped ship on social media altogether, I would not blame you. You can shoot us an email, halloweenisforeverpod@gmail.com. Okay. What else, Steven? Oh, let's talk to him real quick about what's going over on the Patreon. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, jump on over to patreon.com/HalloweenIsForever. That's another place you can interact with us, and I can tell you it is completely free and clear of any of the other bullshit that is awful on social media because it's just us. We curate what goes on there, and you're literally only going to find the following things on there. You're going to find reviews and recos of movies I write up. You're going to find... In October, we have 31 Days of Horror coming up, which means I'll have a new write-up of a movie. It might be new, might be old. I think I decided I'm probably going to do Metropolis at some point next month.
Ooh, fun.
I don't think I've seen that film since college. So like, I want to go back. I want to go back to that one. you can look forward to Metropolis, and I'll say, how about day one? I'm going to do 28 years later. So you guys can look forward to that as 2 posts coming up on the Patreon. And then you'll also find the Discord, where you can jump in the Discord, watch episodes happen live, interact with us live. I noticed we actually got a couple new patrons joining us on the Patreon.
Oh, that's fun.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll start seeing them in the Discord as well. And of course, the big thing you get is a monthly exclusive podcast. Right now, we're doing 90s is Forever as our series. It is the series of 90s comedies. And man, this is one. We were just talking Dice. And Ford Fairlane, directed by Rennie Harlan.
It's out there.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny that it will be part of the series.
Okay, so it's on the bench, waiting to get called up. It sounds like
it's on the bench, and it's very possible. There are a handful of films, and maybe Brian would just indulge me and do one more episode of Ford Fairlane.
I believe it or not, I'm familiar with it. What's the full title? It's
The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
The Adventures. I knew it was something like that. I have not seen that movie. I've heard of it. I'm familiar with what it entails a little bit, just from being in the pop culture. I wouldn't even say zeitgeist, floating about the ether, bumping into things occasionally. I'm familiar with the Adventures of Ford Fairlane, but I have not actually seen it.
I'm on the IMDb, and I think I just revised my schedule. I just bumped a movie for The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, so you can look forward to that coming up on the Patreon. Because the other part of the whole 90s is Forever is each film does have a connection to horror films. And so The Adventures of Ford Fairlane was directed by Rennie Harlan, and I'm pretty sure he has a couple of horror movies in his pocket, including the reshoot of The Exorcist from the 2000s.
Oh, okay. Was not on my radar.
Yeah, because Paul Schrader directed he also just recently directed The Strangers Chapter 1 in 2024. So,
I was going to say, he's got some recent ones for sure, because I feel like we talked about him not that long ago. Oh, yeah.
We also talked about him. I forget what episode it was, but he directed The Covenant, which has that infamous line of, "I'm going to make you my weotch."
I think that's maybe over the years come up a couple times.
Yeah.
Maybe in good movies, bad scenes in good movies, or good scenes in bad movies, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. So this one's a lot of fun. We talked about Silence of the Hams. We talked about that was actually one of the more enjoyable ones. We talked about a movie with the Coreys, which is just a cocaine nightmare, called
National Lampoon's Last Resort.
Last Resort. I always get it mixed up with Chairman of the Board, the Carrot Top movie. Which one of my favorite moments on Conan O'Brien. I mean, in high school and college, I was a diehard Conan fan. And with Norm Macdonald, I'm sure you've seen this bit.
B-O-R-E-D.
B-O-R-E-D. Well, he's like, you want to know what they should call it? Well, if Carrot Top's in it, you should call it Box Office Poison.
And he's talking
Conan's
to,
like, she's in it. Yeah,
he's talking to Courtney Thorne-Smith. Yeah, Norm isn't even being interviewed, and he's just like, Courtney Thorne-Smith is trying to sell this dog shit movie, and he's just like, you know what it should be called? Box Office Poison.
I love that you're Norm Macdonald.
It stinks. It's awful.
It sounds like Lyle Lovitz.
Yeah.
Speaking of it stinks, not Lyle Lovitz, John Lovitz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I love John Lovitz. He's so fucking funny too. He's one of those people I could just listen to him read the phone book. Any case, guys, we're getting real tangent-y tonight, which is not a bad thing. It's a Friday night. We're drinking some beers. But you get all those movies. We're about halfway through that, 10 to 11 episode series. And then prior to that, I made Steve watch 10 months worth of shitty, awful Christian right-wing propaganda horror movies that basically talk about how you deserve to die if you jerk off or are gay or disrespect your grandmother's cooking or whatever. That was fun. And then before that, Steve made me watch all the Fast and the Furious movies. So we've been doing this for a while. So a lot of backlog episodes you'll get access to. And all you got to do is give us $5 dues. You just got to give us your goddamn paper money. Go to us.
Use the $1 dues. $1 dues. It's what we do.
Oh, yes. We're talking about Australians. We got some Australian shit happening here tonight.
Come on down to the Patreon and give us your $1 dues.
Yeah. We got one nasty Australian son of a bitch. We're going to talk. I don't think he's from New Zealand. I think he's from Australia, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All that out of the way, guys, let's get into the movie. We are going to be talking about released this very year, the year of our Lord, 2025, directed by Sean Byrne. We're going to be talking about Dangerous Animals. Came out earlier this year, but just went live on the Shudder. You know how we like the Shudder. And they just put that up there this week. So a lot of people are probably getting eyes on it. I don't think we've talked about any Sean Byrne movies before because we never talked about Devil's Candy, which I think is the only other film of his I've seen, which I do like, and actually could have been a candidate for the art showdown last month. Didn't think about that. And then he also directed The Loved Ones in 2009, which I've definitely seen still images and stuff from, but I do not know that I've watched it. Are you familiar with that one?
I think I watched about half of it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, but yeah. I didn't know he was associated with that film, but yeah, I do remember watching that one. So
yes, he directed that one. And like I said, he directed The Devil's Candy from 2015, which I did enjoy. And then this thing stars one Hassie Harrison. Is it Hassie? I would say it's Hassie.
I'd go with Hassie. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably would, if you know her from anything, it might be from Southbound, which was that was an anthology, I believe, right? If I'm not mistaken, but I do remember liking that movie. That is the only thing that I've seen with her in it. She was in a movie called Dementia, which I'm not familiar with. Max Reload and the Nether Blasters from 2020. Not familiar.
Did I see that? I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not terribly good. What I know her from is Tacoma FD, which
television show?
Yeah, television show, which is it's not like full Broken Lizard, but it's Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lem.
Yes.
And they play firefighters in Tacoma, Washington, obviously. And she plays Kevin Heffernan's daughter, who also joins the firefighter force, whatever they call it. But yeah.
Yeah. Firefighter force.
Firefighter force, whatever it is. But yeah, that show's kind of funny. Like, it's not always 100, but sometimes it has some good bits. If you need your Broken Lizard fix, turn on TNT and watch Tacoma FD or whatever.
Yeah. I've seen previews for it. I'm sure it's very funny because you know how much I love those guys. I forgot that was the name of the show, though. Biggest name on here, definitely Jai Courtney, who's been a bunch of stuff. He's in the freaking Suicide Squad. He's in what else? Jack Reacher, Unbroken, one of the Die Hard movies. He's been in a whole bunch of shit. You'll definitely recognize him. And then Josh Houston is new to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's on anything on TV, but he is he was in Thor Love and Thunder, apparently, which I would rather die than watch, not only because it's not my type of movie, but I also have heard, even amongst people who that is their type of movie, that it is fucking awful.
It is an abysmal film to watch. Like, it is so tone deaf and weird and unpleasant and upsetting. And I do not like that one. That was, I don't know if it was just like Taika Waititi, like deciding he just wanted to try something new and just whoopsed.
Took a big swing,
or he just did not give a fuck, because on top of it just like being like tonally weird and bad, there was also a lot made about like how bad the special effects are in it, like just some real amateur fucking shit for like $100+ million movie.
Huge Marvel movie. Yeah, that's wild. That's the one thing you would expect for them to nail, you know?
Yeah. So it seemed like he just wanted out of Marvel contracts, perhaps, just like didn't want to be associated with Disney that way anymore, and purposely fucking nosedived a fucking franchise for it.
He's like, fuck this Hemsworth kid. I'm fucking taking him down with me. So yeah, not a big cast by any stretch of the imagination. I'll reserve my judgment for how I feel about this movie as we get in, because I guess one spoiler, I do have mixed feelings about it. Anyway, so you get introduced to this couple right off the bat, Greg and Heather. Greg is Canadian, Heather is, I think, British, and they're on some sort of retreat. They're staying in a hostel. They're traveling to Australia, and they hooked up the night before. They slept in, and now everyone else went to SeaWorld, and they decided to find this janky ass, shark experience type of thing, which never been to Australia. I know they got them damn sharks down there, so I'm not interested in this situation, but also I imagine there is a lot of shark tourism down there because of how many there are. I just got to assume that that's, what's happening. In any case, they go to some sketchy ass boat and say, I want your shark experience. They get introduced to Tucker. And I will say, Jai Courtney, by the way, Tucker, giving off rough vibes. Right off the bat.
Immediate.
Whenever you tell somebody about your night and they respond with, so no one knows you're here, that is big red flag.
Yeah.
You turn tail, you get the fuck up out of there. He has a boat. He clearly lives on this boat. It's in a marina where there's a lot of people seem to be just like vegging out, living on their boats. He's got a neighbor named Dave, who's just like some dickhead neighbor who's just like over there pounding drinks. Oh, excuse me. Dickhead. He's a dickhead neighbor. He's a dickhead. And he's just got a ratty little dog. He's pounding drinks over there. So, giving rough energy right off the bat. This movie, I will say, at some points is very predictable, and at other points does kind of go against your expectations. I found myself feeling both of those things while I was watching this.
Yeah, I feel like this movie didn't necessarily impress me with like the plot or like the story with the way it plays out. It feels very predictable that way, but I feel like you can, but it's not bad. Like it's not bad. No, it's just like it's just like we don't do, star ranking systems or anything like that on the show. But if I had to, it's like, it's a 5 or 6 out of 10,
Sure.
Yeah. It's a perfectly fine movie. It's a great way to just slap that on. If you're a Shudder subscriber, slap it on, you'll enjoy it. I think there's some really cool shots in there. There's some cool vibes to it. And one of the reasons why I picked this film, as like, as like a suggestion, like, hey, let's watch this, is like, I did see, just like a clip of Jai Courtney, and usually that dude is fucking milquetoast, washes over me, like, just is a nothing to me.
Okay.
But the clip I saw of him was like, oh, he's doing something wild. And
yeah,
I don't think he's ever started doing anything wild until like I saw that Suicide Squad movie he was in, and the movie overall fucking stinks, but like he is doing character work in it, which is fine. And then he's doing an even more exaggerated character in this, and he's basically playing the fucking guy from Wolf Creek on a boat in this.
He is. He's doing
good,
Wolf
though.
Creek. Yeah, he's doing he's doing the guy from Wolf Creek. If that guy was a tour guide who wants to be a Bond villain, is essentially the crossover there. We'll get into it a little bit, but
and also wants to be Creep from yeah.
What's his name from Creep? Yeah, no, it's definitely borrowing from a number of different things, and ultimately, I think creating a fairly singular character. I thought it was a good performance, albeit cartoonish at times. Anyway, he is telling them the story about how he was attacked by a shark when he was a kid. So he's already got mommy issues. He's got sharky issues. You know both of those right off the bat. He's very weird. He's also like a pretty formidable guy, big, burly, strong looking dude, big, thick neck, sumbitch. This is a situation where they're going to go down in this dive cage, right? So think about Jaws, think about the 100 other movies, think about every movie that ever had a shark in it, where they go down in that little dive cage and they get a close up encounter with a shark, right? That's what they're paying to do here on Tucker's boat. But he's eccentric, as they're getting like wound up to like do it, they're kind of nervous. He starts singing Baby Shark with them and like making them sing the whole thing and whatever. It's kind of funny, I guess. Yeah. They go down in the thing. We got Heather and Greg, I think his name is. They go down. They immediately we're seeing this all from Heather's perspective, by the way. It's important to say. Heather is freaking out right off the bat, but then she goes from like freaking out to like, oh my God, this is amazing, appreciating the beauty of the sharks within about 5 seconds. You get the vibe that something these aren't the main protagonists of the movie pretty quickly. So this is a good example of one of those things where it's like, you kind of see what's coming a little bit on this one, especially if you're a horror, an avid horror fan. I think you can see where this is going. Greg, not long for this world. You can pretty much know right from the beginning. They have him interrupting her. They have him just being kind of like too eager. You just know Greg ain't gonna make it, right?
He's too eager for danger is what it is. And that means he's put his safety blinders on and he doesn't know he himself is in danger.
Yeah. Greg's gonna get it. He doesn't know it. And you know it, but you don't know how it's going to happen. Well, it happens in a fairly abrupt way. They come up out, they're like, that was awesome. Yay, yay, yay. And immediately, Tucker just stabs him in the chest, kicks him over the side of the boat because they're out in the middle of the damn ocean. And of course, Heather's like, hey, boy. She does the old like pull her collar. Like this is about to get bad for Heather.
She grabs her bathing suit strap and just goes, oh boy.
Yeah. So this is literally the 9-minute mark and Greg has already been shivved and kicked into the ocean. So like I said, short-lived. Now we get introduced to a character whom at first did not like, were not interested in, eventually learned to like. So there was some good development. There was a good, I don't want to say necessarily even an arc. It's just, I really didn't like her off the bat and it got better. It's not like it was written with some amazing arc. It was more like I hated the character at first and by the end I didn't hate her.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of get used to her and you get to understand her a little better. Yeah.
And appreciate I'll say everyone involved, Moses, who I don't really care, whatever, but Tucker and her character, who I've forgotten the performer's character. This is Hassie Harrison. Yes, Hassie Harrison plays Zephyr, which immediately I'm one strike against you for that fucking name. And then she's a cool, badass surfer bitch, and she don't take no shit from nobody. She's American in a foreign land. She lives in a van, and she ain't scared. And I was like, this woman lives on Instagram. Yeah. She's got a fucking tiny van. Yeah. She's got a tiny house / van that she lives in. She's going to be insufferable. And her name's Zephyr. So like really you got 2 to 3 strikes against you right off the bat.
I was shocked that crystals did not come into play at any point with her character.
It did feel like she was going to talk about horoscopes, and astrological signs, but we didn't get that from her. We got her. She was just she's a tough broad. She's out here to kick people and punch people, and she's hard to get to her past the difficult hard exterior of her heart into the soft gushy insides. She steals ice cream right off the bat, and you meet this guy who is dressed like a Mormon, and they even make a joke about that because I was like, "Who's this fucking Mormon narc out here?"
Yeah, right.
And he also like, I want to pose this that you just keep this context if you're watching the movie. Moses is this character. It turns out he's not a Mormon, even though he's dressed like a Mormon missionary. Apparently, he's in real estate. But Moses, if there was not a serial killer in this movie, and this was just a random drama, romantic comedy, something like that, Moses is fucking creepy. He does a bunch of creepy shit, and it plays to it plays to Zephyr's advantage in a variety of situations because, spoiler alert a little bit, he doesn't really save her, but he figures out what happens when things go awry. And all the means by which he does this and the means by which he gets introduced to Zephyr in the first place are all creepy. In this instance, he threatens to blackmail her because he saw her stealing ice cream, blackmail her for a ride back to his car because his battery's dead. And like, pretty not cool right off the bat.
Yeah, just immediately, I'm a narc unless you do something for me. It like he seems like a very reciprocal type of guy. Of like,
yeah, if not a sociopath.
Yeah, if not a sociopath, just like, yeah. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to like him, even when he starts doing things for her. Kind of unprompted, and his character seems to just switch as soon as he gets a little ass, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then it doesn't switch enough because he still is like, clingy, and then like chases her down, and
stalks her, straight up stalks her. We'll get to it, but it's looking at through that lens is not hard to do. They connect over surfing. They both like surfing. Okay, cool, great. Then they have a couple little romantic moments. Fast forward, they're banging in the back of Zephyr's van. And my question to you is, do hot people not sweat when they fuck in the back of a van? Because the first thing I saw is they're having a very sensual, very toned hot people sex. Right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
In the back of a van. And listen, as someone who has done a fair amount of fucking in the back of vans, it is sweaty business.
Yes.
I will say that right now.
Just in cars in general, any car, any vehicle, like the ventilation ain't there.
But nope, not a bead of sweat to be seen.
They're kind of glistening, but like I'm telling you, it had to smell crazy in there because she is homeless. Like she is
she's not bathing every day.
No, she's straight up homeless. Her baths are when she goes in the ocean, and I'm telling you, she's gonna smell like seaweed and salt anyway. And he even offers her the use of his shower, and she basically turns him down, meaning that nope, she's just gonna stink and keep his jizz inside of her and just go wash it out in the ocean. Like she's just gonna reek until she can get back to the beach.
She's gonna let all those little fishes deal with it. Yeah. You know what the shitty thing too for me that just took me out of it, the unrealistic, nature of this is when you're in a van like that, especially in the back of the van where you're not even in close proximity to the glove compartment. What are you wiping stuff down with, afterwards? What are you cleaning up with? Right?
Yeah. Yep.
In real life, it's a Burger King wrapper.
Yeah.
But in this instance, we don't even come in contact. It's just it's glorifying and sanitizing the majesty that is van sex, and I don't appreciate it.
The whole back of that van and all the covers and blankets, they're just all slimed up. It's just a fact. They're all slimed up.
Yeah. Immediately, the second he nuts, he is trying to wife her up. Immediately.
Yep.
And she is like, nah, dog, you fucking beta cuck soy boy. I'm out of here. She was giving me big, like, I don't know if it's the blonde hair and the I don't know, the way she talks. She was giving me big MAGA energy right off the bat. I don't know why. Did not appreciate it, but yeah, he's trying to wife her up right off the bat. And she's not having it.
I wasn't getting that, but I was getting like Jennifer Lawrence vibes, and like Jennifer Lawrence kind of plays that character sometimes of just being like a tough girl. Yeah,
in like the Philly one. What I was gonna say, Jennifer Lawrence, I always get the whole like she wants you to like her so much. But in the movie, the one with Robert De Niro and what's his dick, where they live in Philadelphia and the dad's of Eagles fan or whatever.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Silver Lining Playbook. Yeah, I can get that. I can get that.
She also plays that character in that. I don't know if you saw the comedy she was in, the No Hard Feelings. It was like it came out a couple years ago, but it was like a sex comedy where she was hired by these parents to fuck.
I saw previews. Fuck their kid. Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's not great. But she is playing the same character of like, I can't catch feelings. I'm a fucking badass chick. And there is an amazing scene of like her fighting people on the beach, and she fucking she does a full frontal nudity, high angle backdrop suplex on somebody on a beach. It's the most insane.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that is a fucking visual that you just can't get out of your head.
Nice. I like that. All right, I'm back on board. For that movie. I wasn't interested, but now I'm interested. Yep. So Zephyr says, "Nah, dog, fuck off," and decides to do some early morning surfing. Leaves old what's his dick Moses behind. Bolts on him. She gets there early in the morning before the sun comes up, and she's looking for, I think she called it a fin key. It's a surfing thing. I don't know what that is. I imagine it has something to do with the little fins on the surfboard.
Yeah, it's like a truck key for skateboards.
Oh, okay, sure. All right.
Yeah, that's the way I took it.
So yeah, no, you're probably right. She's looking in like the back of someone's car, like basically like, hey, I'm not trying to rob you, but a little forward of her, but whatever. She's looking in the back of someone's car. All of a sudden, Tucker pops up. Of course, she doesn't know who Tucker is, but we know who Tucker is, and lets her use one. And Moses is like, bro, where'd you go? She was like, gotta catch that motherfucking wave. Early bird catches the tube or whatever. I hate surfing terminology. It's so lame. And she is doing this kind of a nice little scene. She's doing this back and forth in her mind where she's starting a text, deleting it, basically wanting to say something nice and like basically to encourage his boyfriend behavior, but then changes it to just like, it's a free country, or because he's like, mind if I join you? And she's like, it's a free. I don't know if that's what she said, but it's the equivalent of that.
She says it's a free ocean because she starts and she's like,
that's right.
She types, she's like, I would like that. And then she's like, no, I can't get tied down to none of these cuck slime boys. Delete. It's a free ocean if you would have come.
Yeah. As long as you wash your dirty dick.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
she's running around just to herself. Catch waves, not feelings.
Yeah, it'd be funny if she had a tattoo across her shoulder blades that said that. That's the vibe she's giving off. Moses shows up and she's not there because Tuck, good old Tuck, our boy Tuck, grabs her, goes up behind her, puts a plastic bag over her head, partially suffocates her until she passes out. throws her in this, what looks like the type of thing you would use, like these little bags you put like a pop-up tent in, like one of those pop-up tents you take to like a barbecue or something like that. It's basically looks like a damn coffin on wheels, like with wheels on one side so you can drag it. He puts her in one of those, drives her back to his boat. She wakes up handcuffed to a bed. There's a pretty impactful scene of him taking her onto the boat. First of all, the whole way out to the middle of goddamn nowhere where this marina is, then off the truck, then onto the boat, then down the halls. Like this boat is like labyrinthian in the amount of, it looks like an old commercial fishing boat, like an old shrimp boat or something like that. So it's not small, it's not huge, but it's not small. It's not like a small fishing boat. It's like it's decent size, and he's basically taking her down into the belly of this boat. So it's pretty impactful. She wakes up with handcuffed to the bed and starts screaming, and they do this pan out shot of like all the different rooms and little galleys and shit they had to go down in the boat, then like pan out from the boat and they're in the middle of the fucking ocean. So it's like, bro, you're stuck here.
Yeah.
And also Tucker's just eating cereal.
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah. And Tucker's just going about his morning. Yeah. It feels like that boat is like way bigger than Tucker should have. Like it's bigger than a one-man crew is what it is, because it is like a shrimping. Yeah, it is like a shrimping boat. Like when you see the galley, it has like 2 booths in it that like a full crew would be able to sit down and have a meal at together. And so you get this sense that the boat is also pretty fucking old and in disrepair. So you get this sense that Tucker probably killed his way onto this boat and then just slapped his name on it to take people out for fucking, these excursions, and then, repurposed the crane from pulling in, the fishing cages to dropping a shark cage is all he's done.
Yeah, he's got this crane with a winch on it that he can just drop this cage down and put people in it for their little shark experience. When she wakes up handcuffed to a bed, and it's a bed made out of like heavy duty pipes, and it's like welded to the floor, so you're not going anywhere, right? It's not just like a bed frame. There's another identical bed on the other side of the room, and Heather is in that bed, and she'd been there for a sec. We don't know exactly how long, but she starts freaking out. Heather is like, obviously a little more calm because she's been there for some amount of time. They see like other victims' names like on the wall. Like this is just a real bad situation to be in. So Moses is leaving. He sees her van being towed, goes to the police, no help. Like that's a reasonable thing to do. Okay. She wasn't there. She did invite you, she didn't show, and our van's being towed. Okay, that's a responsible thing to do. Okay, but then after this, it goes a little far. But then Zephyr and Heather. This scene is one of the ones that rubbed me the wrong way. I will say it feels really fast to be talking to each other like friends. Like it feels like they're talking like they've been stuck in this room for a month together, right? Talking about their parents and relationships, and it's like you just woke up handcuffed to a bed 4 minutes ago, and you guys are having like speed dating conversations, and it's like this conversation didn't feel earned. This feels like one that would happen after a week there, not 4 minutes. Yeah, like she's still trying to pull her arm, like break the bed to get out. Meanwhile, having conversations about like relationships and stuff.
Some of these conversations go too quick, and I think it feels like a lot of filling time, and they just maybe filled time inappropriately sometimes. One of the other reasons why I picked this film is because long time ago, I was asked to write a very similar film. And so, And so I was interested in to see how this film kind of did what it did. I was asked to write a film about a treasure hunting ship. Okay. And it basically was along the similar plot of like, this treasure hunting ship would go out and it would take people on the ship with it, take, these tourists to do treasure hunts, and and then the crew turns on them. And so I had never seen the ship was out of Florida. I can actually put it in the Discord. It's this weird treasure hunting ship that like actually anchors itself and lifts itself above kind of the floor. Like it has it has posts instead of an anchor. It has posts that drive down into the sea floor and raises the boat up so it doesn't get hit with like ocean waves and shit. But yeah, so I was tasked with writing a script around people trapped on this boat and running around on it. And so you have to like there's only so much space you can work with. So you wind up doing a lot of what happens in this film. I wrote a lot of what happens in this film similarly, of like, you just have to handcuff people to shit.
Right. You have to trap people in confined spaces.
Yeah. And so I did a lot of that. And then like, you have like one person get away, and the killer or killers have to chase that person down. And while they're doing that, the other people who are still trapped are trying to help themselves. And so it's just like, and then you have like, there's a later scene of like, oh, not him, me, dude, you do that shit just because you're just trying to find it. I don't think it's a good, it's a more of a challenge to write. Like like you're writing it for the challenge of like, can I set all of this on this rinky dink ass boat that has 2 levels and 5 rooms or whatever. And I
it's
think,
like
this movie
lends itself to more of a chamber piece than a thriller type of plot.
Yeah, because you can only run around the deck so many fucking times. But I think this movie does well enough with that. So
yeah, they do. It seems there's a couple times where it's a little repetitive, where it's like, oh, she almost escaped again. Oh, she almost escaped again.
Yeah.
And there is some times where like the thing I like about it, we'll get into the specific individual moments, but like it does feel like most of the time she's doing the thing that you might do. She's not doing something super stupid,
Yeah.
There's a couple times she's doing a couple stupid things. Yeah. Well, not even stupid things, just like risky things, vengeful things we'll talk about. But it's like, you kind of knew that was going to happen too with this movie. When you set up this bad guy that everybody hates, like you have to have some revenge, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so he brings them dinner. It's, by dinner, it's like a Vegemite sandwich, and a glass of water. And, they're trying to pick the lock. Of course, you get this idea of like how resourceful Zephyr is right off the bat, because she's like, what do we have to pick the lock? What do we have to pick the lock? Then realizes Heather has literally her same swimsuit she had on the day she was abducted. But she's like, does it have an underwire in it? And she's like, yeah, she pulls it out. He comes in as they're trying to pick the lock, hides it. But then they drink the water, and then it shows out that they drugged the water, and comes back in and immediately sees what they were doing, and they pass out. Then wake up, they're on the deck, and this is like Tucker's thing. This is what he calls like his show. Like he talks about it like he's in show business, and this is his thing. He records this with his old VHS camera. And he is essentially an amateur Bond villain. He sets up this scenario where he puts people on, like we said, he's got mommy problems. He's also got Sharky problems. He puts women on maybe not exclusively women, but it does appear to be primarily women. He puts them in this little harness. Imagine like we would see like a zip lining harness or something like that. Hooks it to his crane on the winch, and then chums the water for sharks, and then lowers them into the water and watches them get munched by sharks. That's Tucker's thing. And he's really, you could tell he's really into doing this. He's got his camera set up. And he delivers this long like soliloquy about sharks and his relationship with sharks. And it is just the most Bond villain thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
The only difference between this and a Bond villain, because he's got the Australian accent too, which is like would be something a Bond villain has. The only difference is the music. And no one is a secret agent that can just easily escape whenever. Like that's otherwise change the music and have some like snarky British secret agent there. This is just a cut rate white trash Bond villain.
And he's also in flip-flops. And I don't think
yeah, and he has like frosted tips. Like they did a real good job of making him look like a guy who would host fishing charter trips.
Yeah. This film is another testament to Australia is the UK's South. Despite being separated by thousands and thousands of miles, Australia is just the UK South because
sure.
And this is more specifically feels like Florida. You know, they're
I was just going to say, this is the Florida of the UK. Sure.
Yeah. You got people living on boats. You got, that boat marina isn't even in like a nice place. They have to go through like this industrial construction fence and like it's all gravel road and bullshit there. And so like Tucker's just running around, mostly either in flip flops or barefoot. And everything just looks, ratty and shitty. But yeah, it feels like, hey, Queensland is also, Florida.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, it's like you have this giant country that's also a continent, and the vast majority of the people live on the coast. Right. So like the whole continent is Florida almost.
It's all Florida on the coasts. In the middle is like Arizona. And you could probably find like a little bit of, like Virginia in the nicer places.
Sure.
And like Sydney, the nicer parts of Sydney are probably closer to Virginia.
Sure. We do get, Heather. I will say a couple things about this movie I really liked. I've hinted at this already. The performances I like, even though they are especially Tucker is fairly cartoonish at points. And he does this Bond villain meets the guy from Creep meets also Buffalo Bill. He does a whole Buffalo Bill dance at one point. Pretty much he does like a machismo Buffalo Bill, right? I like the performance a lot. Memorable performance. And I'll say, even though I'm not in love with the character of Zephyr, I will say they picked the right performer because they do a wonderful sense of the physicality of the violence in this movie.
Right.
Everyone is a really good physical actor. Everyone seems like dynamic and powerful and violent in their movements. You know what I mean?
There's also some pretty good stunts, especially later in the film.
Yeah, there's some great shit, and it's all really believable. Like there's a few times I found myself going like, oh shit, like when something happened.
When he yanks her off the ladder. When he
yeah, that in particular, and she cranks her head off that table. I was like, God damn.
Oh God.
Oh God damn. Yeah, it's really good. Really, really believable. Anyway, at this point, like, so he lowers Heather into the water. She's freaking out. She's kicking. She's splashing. She starts getting munched, dragged around by the sharks. You don't really see the sharks. They're just ripping her up. And then she's just dead. And they have to just sit there and watch her. And he only lowers her halfway into the water. So the shark just basically like eats her legs off. And then you get this like shot from above of like, obviously it looks, I'm pretty sure it's a CGI shot, but like with one of the legs like sinking down, which is like, probably wouldn't happen. The shark probably would have ate that, but it looked cool.
Yeah. That was part of his whole, monologue as well. It was like, ew, when the sharks come,
don't really
they don't like doing it. They're just gonna do it. They're just testing. But you get the sense that like, oh, he's just throwing women to the sharks because he knows the sharks will tear them apart, and that gets him off. That's just whatever bizarre ritual he has enacted as the serial killer.
Right. She goes back, like she sees the other like names in the wall. She carves Heather's name in the wall. Okay, fine. That's when Tucker does this big, like, which is, I think, is a little bit the this is not a good analogy, but it's like the Cheddar Goblin of this movie, where you're seeing this clip popping up in on social media and stuff. It's Tucker doing this drunken Buffalo Bill dance where he's like swigging wine from the bottle. He's in his underwear. He's in like his gutchies, and he's got a robe on. He's just doing this like weird abdominal flexing, thrusting pelvic dance. And then he just like sits down, and you see his whole like ritual, right? He's more of a product killer than a process killer, because he wants to, well, maybe not, but he definitely takes all of these trophies. He cuts a little bit of the women's hair. He makes a fishing lure out of them. And then he puts that in a VHS case, and then he puts the VHS tape in a case and puts their name on it. So you see him go through his whole ritual of creating Heather's tape and her lure and all this stuff. So, and then Zephyr is like, this is like, he's basically like, hey, you're tomorrow, like you're the show tomorrow night kind of thing. She finds another name on the wall that's like painted over, pretty much lots more names. Simultaneously, we see him put Heather's tape in his tape, I don't know, in his cabinet, and there's got to be like 40 or 50 tapes.
Yeah.
So you're like, this dude's like a real deal psychotic serial killer.
Yeah, again, it's something we've seen before, because it's the trophy case that Peach Fuzz has his tapes in, or
Peach Fuzz, that's it. Yeah,
Barbarian had the room full of tapes as well. So it's like something we're familiar with it. It's just yeah.
Mm-hmm. He thinks he's a shark that's like keeping weaker creatures in check. Like that's the story he's telling himself to justify this like fucked up desire he has. So there's a lot of like not a lot, but a good amount of verbal sparring between Zephyr and Tucker, of her like, no, you're not a shark. You're a fucking worm. You're a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. So she can get under his skin. You see that right away. Is like, one, dude likes to booze, right? And two, she can get under his skin. So he is vulnerable in that way. Cut to him just sitting there eating dinner, watching the video he just shot of Heather, which is like such a gross thing to do.
Yeah.
But
I wish something like, I like the concept. Like, obviously she should be verbally sparring with him. Mm-hmm. Something about the lines themselves didn't hit with me. Yeah.
There's a lot of bad dialogue, and I think it's delivered decently well. Like you said, it's some of the writing is shitty. But yeah, it feels corny in a like, that's just the tone. It's consistently pretty corny. Yeah. And like, because she's the only one that really has like the agency or like the sparring. So like, obviously, she is also the star, so she gets the most lines. But like, a lot of her stuff feels obviously written by a guy, I think. And it was like the writer's, his name's Nick Lepard. And so it's just like, it feels like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it would be natural for her. It feels like this is the way a guy would go about it, but it's being portrayed by a woman. The whole, like earlier in the film, the whole like discussion about Creedence Clearwater. That whole discussion felt like the words of a 50-year-old coming through this supposed like 25-year-old woman. It's like it should be it's a conversation that should be happening at a VFW. Well, maybe this is what gave me the MAGA vibes about her, because they're like, he's listening to CCR early on, and we should call it out because it does come up later. But she's like, "Oh, you like CCR?" And he's like, "Yeah, do you?" And she's like, "Yeah, just not Ooby Dooby, because which is like, that's like listen to the Beatles and you like your favorite song is like I Want to Hold Your Hand. You know what I mean? It's just like that's like the poppy shitty one. It's not even that popular of a song, but it's like that's like saying your favorite CCR song is like put me in, coach, I'm ready to play, like the baseball song. But yeah, I agree. That's the
it's not.
I think that's why I'm getting the MAGA vibes too.
It's not even that she's wrong in what she says, because she's like, hey, CCR has these better songs. She's talking about Fortunate Son, which is why I didn't get MAGA vibes, because she properly identifies that CCR
why it's
it's an anti-war song.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I think it was just the dialogue did feel like it was not something a mid-20s woman surfer woman would say.
They would not be talking about that. She would be talking about I don't know, fucking Charlie XCX or some shit.
Yeah. Now Zephyr decides she's going to make a shiv out of something, and she decides the handle of the plastic piss shit bucket is going to be her best bet. And he's got his own little apothecary where he creates like drugs to drug his victims. He's in there mixing up the drugs. When he comes in with the drugs, meanwhile he's singing the Baby Shark. Actually, he's saying Mommy Shark too, which is just like, oh my god, it's over the. I mean, that's part of the song as well, but it's just like he happens to be saying that point where he's mixing up the drugs. Anyway, comes in. This is the first time where it's like some really. I thought some really great like the violence stood out at me as like, whoa. She comes in, she's hiding under the blanket, pretending to be sleeping. He comes in to give her the shot. She whips around, stabs him in the neck with the shiv. He grabs his neck, falls backwards, cranks his head off the like bed frame of the other bed, which was just sick. It was just like good, very dynamic, fast, but not too cutty. Like, I don't know. It was just, they do a really good job of that in this movie.
Fast, close up, good Foley. All the things you need for just like
good Foley. Yeah. Bong, his head cranking off the thing.
It's a good jump of, he took one.
Here's the thing though. This is one of the things which, again, it's a lot happening. She just stabbed somebody in the neck. I've personally never stabbed anybody in the neck. I don't know how I would react as far as immediately when I stab somebody in the neck. But as a third party observer here, I'm like, you got to finish him.
Right.
Like it's an MMA fight right now. You got to go Shogun Hua on him and just start fucking stomping his head immediately. 2 double foot jump stomp on his head.
John McCarthy is not there to pull you off. Just whoop on him until he's gone. And like that's what I was mad about. I was so mad because she neither took the needle that he was going to inject her with and injected him with it, nor did she cuff him by the ankle to the bed and run off with the keys. So she didn't do any things to like further her advantage while he's knocked out.
No. Or just jump on top of him and stab him 20 more times in the neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
just get the other part of the bucket handle and go to town.
They just didn't. Yeah, this was part of. I mean, I get it. That would be a very short movie, but maybe you make her slip, something else happens, or maybe he's not knocked out. But for him to be knocked out for a good like 20 seconds and she doesn't take advantage of that. Like the thing that I think is believable about her character is she does at times seem like the type of person who would take advantage of that and immediately start stabbing him in the neck or fucking Shogun stomping his head.
Yeah.
Anyway, he comes to, she runs, goes up, tries to run. He comes to, they have a little showdown on the deck. She's got his camera tripod and she's like kind of brandishing it to like protect herself. And quickly, this was just such a, I don't know why I liked when she did this, because he did get some of the the drugs in her. So she's getting loopy already. So she's not in her own. So I guess you could think that had something to do with it. Maybe it was already having some effect or something. And that's why she just like wasn't in her right mind. Anyway, gets on the deck. She's trying to hit him with the tripod. He's like, be careful with that. Be careful with that. Because that's his camera, right? That's how he does his quote unquote art. She just throws it in the water. Just such a malicious thing to do, which I loved. She just throws it in the water. He's like, no. And then she just, again, she's like half conscious, flings herself, not jumps, not dives, flings herself off of the boat into the water. And then she's swimming away, and you could see she's like losing consciousness. She starts to sink, but he grabs her with like his you know, like fishing net hook and brings her back in. So her first escape attempt has been foiled. Or second, I guess, really. Yeah,
but she did interrupt his process. So like
she did.
I did, you know, and it's arguable about whether or not she was in the right mind to know that would stop him from killing her, because he has to have that as part of his process. It's like, I gotta record it. I can't just, how do I enjoy it later if I don't, you know?
Pixar didn't happen, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she interrupts his process. So now cut back to Moses. This is when Moses takes it a little bit too far. Now we're happy that he did, because it ultimately leads into the right direction, but he's really hung up on this chick that stood him up. Now he did see her van getting towed, but that could be for a variety of reasons. He decides he's going to use, I guess it's some surf app where it has like a live feed of like different surfing spots to essentially stalk her. Sees when her you know, van got there, when her van was towed, and somehow right in the middle, I'm sure there were hundreds of cars that passed, but he happened to see right after her car went in, Tucker's truck go in, then come back out. Either he has supernatural fucking detective intuition, or he's the luckiest motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah.
But he zooms in on this one truck, sees the truck has his little Tucker's fucking magic fish trips logo, looks it up, calls it. He's like, says, you know, hey, basically like, I'm on vacation, call back in a week, in his voicemail, looks up the address and decides to go to the address. This is all, you know, you could say like he was just looking for clues. Maybe he was going to say, did you see this woman? But this is all, if it was just she got really into surfing and ended up going for lunch with somebody else and left her van there until it got towed. This seems real creepy what he's up to.
They could have put just at least like one thing that made it more acceptable, which, and I can tell you what it would have been, is there was that whole scene after they fucked in the back of her van. They're talking about how her basic diet is fucking dinner rolls, and she eats just like a shitload of dinner rolls all the time. The way to make this make sense, to make it so Moses goes and tracks this down, is if he freeze frames on Tucker's truck leaving, and he sees Tucker sitting in the front chowing down on a dinner roll at 3 in.the.morning or whatever.
Yeah, that would have been great. It would have brought the dinner roll thing back around. This felt lazy. It felt like a stretch. Now you're like, why the fuck is Moses there? There's no reason why he should be there.
Except that he stalks. I don't know. Except that he stalks women.
Except for he's a straight up stalker. And even as a stalker, like his decision to go to Tucker by just seeing his truck go in and out. Like how many other vehicles went in and out? Like,
yeah, it could, it could have been as simple as like he doesn't know Zephyr as well as he thinks. And like, she also just went to go fuck this guy now. And
sure, that's what I'm saying. Anything could happen.
What a completely different movie it is if none of this is going on and Moses gets on the boat and like none of the serial killer stuff is happening. It's just literally Zephyr met jacked Jai Courtney and went back to his fucking houseboat, and they were banging it out, and Moses, stalked his way onto his boat and is like, oh no, my girlfriend.
Oh no, my imaginary girlfriend's banging Jai Courtney.
His muscles are so big.
Oh no, I can't believe this. My girlfriend's banging Jai Courtney. But yeah, so Tucker, he comes back to shore. He obviously leaves Zephyr, handcuffed in her room because he's got to go get another camera at this point. So he goes to the thrift store. He has this like manic trip to the thrift store where he's freaking out.
He goes to Australian Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers Dirt Mall.
Or Trader Jack's in Bridgeville is what it actually looks like.
Yeah. It's too nice for Rogers. He's stomping around, being impatient, even coming impatient on his way back, getting stuck in traffic. But then you see this pretty creepy scene of him like seeing this other girl and like he's like starts creeping on her like he's choosing his next victim. So this is like, you just see that this is something that's happened time and time again. We already know this. Tucker comes back from the thrift store. Moses, this is the bigger jump because Moses comes to the boat, knocks on the door, no one's there, immediately decides to break a window and break in. And then once he's in there, he starts hearing like faint screaming, follows it.
Well, he hears the screaming on the deck, which leads him to break the window.
Sure, it's just this is a lot for Moses to be doing.
It's not believable that her screams would carry all the way through the ship when like she's in the bottom. I'm assuming in the bottom of the ship, and like it goes through all this steel for Moses to barely. Yeah, it's not terribly believable.
Yeah.
Again,
anyway,
another dinner roll should have been.
It's just a dinner roll.
He's just following a trail of dinner rolls.
Placed dinner rolls. Yeah, it's like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Okay, so Moses comes back he goes down. He unties, frees her, right? No, he doesn't free her. He's looking for something to pick the lock with. Tucker comes back from the thrift store. This big fight scene ensues. A good fight scene where right off the bat, Moses just getting his ass whooped. He gets the damn hook thing in the back, which that probably hurt quite a bit. They're going after each other. Eventually, Moses gets on top of him, starts choking him, strangling him with the handle. It's basically, imagine like a broom handle of this like hook thing.
Which also,
just as you're
very serial killer vibes here too, because you can tell Moses is just going to do it. He's going to kill him.
Oh yeah, 100% going to kill him. And then just as he's feels like Tucker's about to pass out, all of a sudden, thwack. Moses gets cracked in the back of the head, and it's Dickhead Dave from the boat next door, who came on, who always wants to be friends with Tucker and is like always trying to like get him to like include him in his business or whatever. And he's always like, oh, fuck off, Dave. Dave comes in, sees Tucker in trouble, doesn't know Tucker's a psycho serial killer, thinks Moses is an intruder or whatever, bashes Moses in the head. Tucker obviously gets up. And then Dave hears Zephyr in the other room, runs in there, sees a woman handcuffed to a bed, and he's like, whoa, like, what the fuck's going on here? But of course that doesn't last long because Tucker is behind him, sticks the old hook in his head. But now, good news, Zephyr and Moses are roommates.
Hooray!
Hooray! Also, they're all, they're both pretty calm at this point, which is, again, kind of like the Heather situation before. They're all a little bit too calm for having just been abducted by a serial killer. Like, Moses is still trying to wife her up at this point, and he's been abducted by a serial killer. And that felt unbelievable.
Well, see, Zephyr has been there, so that's been her situation for a bit now. Moses is unbothered because he does this to other women in a different fashion. That's the thing the movie never really tells us, is the fact that Moses actually is a serial killer, and he just happened to accidentally fall into a different serial killer's trap. So he's unbothered, and he'll eventually find his way out. But
this is a real Dexter situation. I didn't realize it. Yeah.
You got reverse Dextered.
Meanwhile, Tucker discovers like he's low on gas. So instead of, and I think the low on gas thing was just an excuse to make them, why aren't they going back out to sea? Right. Because they don't go back out to sea. They just go to this little, like, kind of somewhat remote inlet. You know, he starts chumming the water with Dave, with old dickhead Dave. And he puts Moses up on the winch. And, you know, obviously he does this whole fucking soliloquy about marlins. He like talks about marlins, I think, at this point for a long time. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Zephyr offers to go up instead of Moses. Here is the second worst line in the movie. Tucker says, "Oh, how romantic. Too bad I'm more of a horror fan." Jesus Christ. That one should have got not that you should just deleted that line when you were typing it on your computer. You should have printed it out, set it on fire. That's how bad that fucking line was.
You take that, you cut it out from the script, and you stick it up your ass.
Yeah, that was seriously such a fucking horrible line.
It lives up your ass.
Now that is poop now. You have to make that into poop. That's what it was. You need to physically make it into poop.
Turn that line into poop. Turn that line into poop.
Yeah, I'm just imagining all the little people in Freaks doing it. Pounding on the ground in the rain. Old Zeph tells him, basically, stay still. Stay still in the water and the sharks won't attack you. Sharks are like T-Rexes. Mm-hmm. Their sight is based on motion. No, he's just basically saying like they won't attack you if you if you stay still or whatever. Who knows? That happens, but then Tucker starts bringing Moses back because the sharks leave. Again, you kind of maybe as a more seasoned horror fan, I think most folks could have seen this coming, but he's bringing him back, and they're like, "Oh, it worked. Moses is going to be saved now." Obviously he's not. Guy just stabs him a few more times and puts Ben back in the water. He's like, that should get him excited, you know? So, oh no, now it's really scary.
I did really appreciate after he stabs him and, you know, hangs him back over the sea. There's just that one like close up out of nowhere of the blood dripping down his foot, and then it gets blown away by the wind. Mm-hmm. That's just a really cool stylistic shot for no reason, but it's great.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like that. There's a lot of really good shots in this movie. Like I said, the one with the leg floating there, there's stuff that they didn't have to do, but just add some nice layering to the dread and the violence and everything. Mm-hmm. At this point, the thing that is that stops him this time is a helicopter. So a helicopter's flying around. So he's like, now he has to stop. So he puts them back in their rooms. So she's like, so now at this point, Moses, he ain't doing so good. He's bleeding out on the bed over there. She decides she's going to go, you know, at first I was like, is she going to go like full Gerald's game on this situation? Because Moses is obviously bleeding out. But I like this because she explores a few different options. She first breaks her own thumb, which that's like the old adage. You break your thumb, you can get out of the handcuffs, but it doesn't work. Also, at this point, I was like, why is he still bringing her dinner? Probably unnecessary. He's going to feed her to sharks in like a couple hours.
Yeah, she knows it's because originally he brings dinner because it is full of crazy poison knockout drugs.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and also like, okay, you want to keep people, he's trying to keep these victims alive, you know, until he finds somebody else, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the bringing him dinner at this point seems a little pointless. It's also, I think I guess it's just maybe part of his process, but, my question is, why is he trying to convince her of anything? Like at this point, he's like, I'm a shark, you're a shark, we're tough sharks. You know, he's like trying to talk her into how like they are like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that just seems inconsistent with his character and his motives. Like they are playthings for him.
Yeah.
Right. And he has this superiority complex where he's the strong animal that's making the weak animal keep the weak animal in check, because he does this thing about like how if you don't do it that way, the weak animals will think they can get away with whatever, you know, or whatever.
I think it's partly, I mean, it's the whole reason why we're watching this character's story and not anybody else's, because he so easily dispatches everybody else. And
yeah, and she's the one who keeps pushing and trying.
Yeah,
and
she keeps giving him problems. So he's back to the first conversation that they had, where she basically tells him he's slime, he's nothing, he is trying to come back to her with like, all right, well, I admit you got the better of me. You're a fighter. I'm a fighter. And he's just trying to look for her to like admit that they're both fighters. Like he's willing to accept that as a prospect, as like, because just as long as she admits that he's also a fighter, he's like, all right,
sure,
we're on even ground, I guess, except I'm still going to kill you.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The broken thumb does not help. So she, maybe even worse, probably even worse than the degloving in Gerald's game. She gnaws her own thumb off. Now you don't see much of it.
No.
But she does. She gnaws her own damn thumb off.
It's enough that I just happened to be chewing gum while watching that scene, and I was just, what? I got a weird like twinge in my mouth at the same time because she's biting. She's biting down while I'm chewing gum, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I imagine like what if you were like eating like a cold chicken wing, you know, while that was happening or something. You're used to eating a bucket of KFC.
I was chewing my Aldi's excitement.
Oh, excitement. Yeah. I see that. He keeps this is where he's singing Mommy Shark when he's mixing up the drugs while she's eating her hand off. He comes in to administer the drugs, and she comes in and she's gone. There's just the thumb in the bed. He's like, where'd she go? She gets out the door behind him, locks it behind him, but he knows another way out. There's another panel. He happens to have this like kind of all-purpose tool on him, so he's able to get through this other panel. She goes up and starts the boat, but he immediately goes down to the power room and kills the power. So again, this plan is not going great for her. They have this is when they have this really great chase scene and fight scene where she shoots a flare at him. Eventually she like locks him into this one area of the ship that's like catching on fire. Then he gets in. She's trying to get out. She's almost out, but her like something gets caught on like the hatch she's coming out of. He grabs her legs, yanks her down. She bashes her face off the table, but pops back up, keeps fighting. She's got a knife. He's got a knife. She's got a cast iron skillet. She brains him with the cast iron skillet, knocks him out for a second. Just really great. Like I said, it's really physical fight scene here. I don't know if she does her own stunts or not, but I don't know if that was because, like I said, her physicality as a performer is really good, but this fight scene, these stunts are fucking great.
Yeah. I don't know if she does her own.
She's a pretty she appears to be an athletic person. That's why I thought like maybe she does her own stunts, but like she's pretty built. She's not like, you know, flimsy looking, but they do they're just kind of showing how like tough she is, you know. That's kind of the thing, I guess. Very believable violence, all that stuff we talked about. She jumps off the boat, just starts fucking swimming to this like little island over there, and she gets there. This is like this is a really good like, oh my god, she almost got away thing, because she's swimming. You're like, well, the boat probably isn't going to start. He cut the power. So she starts swimming towards what looks like this little like resort island where it looks like they might have like a wedding reception or something happening. But he has this little boat, like a little outboard engine, rescue boat type of thing. He jumps in that, flies up beside her just as she gets to the shore, and just like freaking puts the hooks in and chokes her out. And it's pretty brutal. You're like, obviously like drawn out her kind of failure and how close she actually got. You're like, oh, you're hoping somebody comes up and like notices what's happening or whatever, but no. And they do a good, usually I hate this kind of stuff. They do a really good needle drop. And I didn't write down what the song is. Did you have, but it's like, basically the line they're saying is like, I finally got you kind of thing. It's like, but it's like a love song.
Right. Yeah.
But obviously in this context is pretty distressing. So now he's got her in the harness on the winch, and Moses is watching. So he's kind of switched these things around. We get a whole nother speech from Tucker, a whole nother Bond villain speech. This is the one where he's talking about Marlins and shit, I think. I'm just like, all right, I'm done with the fucking soliloquies from Tucker. Just then a goddamn great white rolls in. Not surprising.
No,
right?
Of course not.
But it's like this monstrous, like looks to be fucking 20-foot long great white shark. Not 20, I don't know. It's fucking huge.
It's big,
right?
Yeah, a big ass shark. I like the twister logic of this film because we're constantly upping the danger of the sharks. Like the first sharks we see in
it's an F5 shark.
Exactly. It's exactly how it plays out. The first sharks we see are like little mako sharks. And like they're like it's like a school of sharks, but there's like a bunch of them. Yeah. But they're not terribly big. And then we see like bull sharks. And then in this scene, like we see a bull shark show up, but it gets chased off because here it comes. The finger of God, man. The F5. The great white.
Yeah. Or perhaps those are little velociraptor sharks, and then the T-Rex shark comes.
Yeah.
But yes, it is very much like that. The great white rolls in, and he's like, "By God, it's a great one." And he's getting off on the shark shit. He's obviously getting off on her going to get attacked. Meanwhile, Zeph just kicks the shark in the face and like repels it, like at least the first time, right?
Yeah.
And then. This is a couple things, not a couple, couple 2-tree things go real bonkers at the end of this movie. It gets bonkers, which I like because this is the type of, if this movie would have been too self-serious after being as silly as it is up to this point, I think that would have been like kind of tonally inconsistent. The fact that if they would have, let's put it this way, if they would have had a Wolf Creek ending, you'd have been like, the fuck, guys, you know? But no, they do a sufficiently silly ending, which honestly I think works for it. Tucker starts trying to rile up the great white, but like loses his shark riling stick. I don't know what it is. He's just poking at it like, come on, do something.
Come on.
And Zeph gets a hold of the stick, right? Which I immediately thought of, give him the stick. Don't give him the stick.
Don't give him the stick.
Don't give him the stick. She climbs her ass up with the freaking stick. Meanwhile, remember, she doesn't have a thumb on one hand. Gets free, unhooks like the little like carabiner looking thing from the winch and drops into the water and immediately swims under the boat. And she has this long, I mean, at least a minute, maybe 90-second long face-to-face showdown with conservatively 18-foot long great white shark.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one of two things happens in this scene. And Steve, I want you to weigh in on which it is. I don't know enough about sharks to know the gender of this shark. Okay.
Sure.
But one of two things happens. A, she and the shark fall in love. And it feels like that might have been what happened. because they look at each other. They have a moment. They clearly seem to read into something with one another. The shark goes away. Zephyr smiles, and I'm like, either the shark just fell in love with her, or two, what is probably happening, and is even dumber, I think, is that the shark recognizes that she's an injured boss bitch.
Yes.
And shows Zeph her boss bitch scar. And then leaves her alone.
Yes. I am 90% sure it was number 2, because that's what I thought as well.
Even dumber than the shark falls in love with her.
Yes. My other observation of this was, do you remember in Lake Placid, Oliver Platt's character was obsessed with swimming with the crocodiles, and he talked about how like he could look them in the eye and he could feel them and all that. She Lake Placided her way out of this situation. She made eye contact with the shark, and they had a connection, and she's like, I felt the shark and the shark felt me, and then in that moment we knew we were one, and then she let me go. It's like she Lake Placid her way out of it.
Well, she opposite Jaws 2'd it, where the shark recognizes humans and holds a grudge. Is that Jaws 2 or 3?
Jaws 4 is where it holds a grudge. Jaws 4.
Yeah, definitely not Jaws 2. It's Jaws 4.
Yeah, Jaws 3, you can argue it's holding a grudge because it chases down the adult child of Roy Scheider to SeaWorld.
Yes.
You can argue it's holding a grudge in that one. But 4 is definitely a grudge because it's even called The Revenge. So
yeah, or if you've seen Orca, I mean that there's a real Orca relationship between the great white shark and Zephyr here. But really and truly what happens is you see the shark's eye, and they zoom in on the shark's eye, and then then they zoom in on Zephyr's injury, the thumb. And what you're meant to believe is shark goes, oh, you're a boss bitch that's hurt. And then the shark flips its saucy little tail around, and you see this big scar running down the side of the shark. And the shark is like, oh, I know what it's like to be a boss bitch and the man's holding you down. Go get her, queen. Yeah. That is literally what happens in this movie, and it is one of the most bonkers fucking things. The only thing that would have been more bonkers is if, as the shark turned and went away, the introductory song for the sitcom Reba started playing. It's like she's a single mom who works 2 jobs, and like that whole thing started playing as she went away.
The fucking the theme song to Grace Under Fire as the shark swims away.
Yeah. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I watched it and I was like, what the fuck is happening? I rewound to just like, that wasn't just my like melted brain that thought that that's what happened. Nope. That's 100% what happened. She recognized Boss Bitch Game. Boss Bitch Game recognizes Boss Bitch Game. She said, you slay queen. And she left her alone.
Yep.
And literally Zephyr smiles at the shark underwater. Like she recognizes that the shark recognized Game.
Yeah. The shark recognized that Zephyr is not a marlin, but is also a shark her own self.
Yeah. She saw this and said, you must be a shark. Now Zephyr goes into solid snake mode. She climbs up the side of the ship, sneaks up on there, gets the harpoon gun. Of course, he's right by the edge. She shoots him right through the chest with the harpoon. He goes into the water. Now he's out in the water in the same place that he put the people. And he's floating there, and the great white comes back. And the great white does the most cartoonish deep blue sea giant, breaches out of the water, jumps 10 feet in the air while chomping him.
Yes.
And then lets him come back up for one more goodbye before pulling him down. And you get the like him floating in the water. He's feeling what his victims felt, you know, just as clean cut a revenge as you could get in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Moses is there and she's like, we're safe. We did it. Meanwhile, completely unnecessary, but I guess I appreciated it, is the shark starts swimming off after obviously has munched up Tucker, and they realize the harpoon is still in Tucker. The harpoon line gets caught around her leg, whips her off the boat into the water. Moses is obviously bummed, but then she very promptly surfaces and just swims back to the boat.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah. I think it was just like a weird thing for her to get close enough to see that the party boat was out there. It doesn't
I don't
have,
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because then it's like, oh wait, she got back and Moses is dead, so they're just taking turns being dead. And then she goes and shoots a flare, and then like confesses her true love to Moses, which wakes him up. I did miss one thing, which is the worst line in the movie, which is I forgot the name. What's the name of the dumbass CCR song they talk about earlier?
Ooby Dooby.
Ooby Dooby. She literally, as she's about to shoot Tucker in the chest with the spear gun, she says, "Ooby Dooby, motherfucker," Ugh. And shoots him through the chest. Which that was, I get it. You're doing a wink, wink, nod, nod, tongue in cheek horror. You know, you got to have the whatever, something motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
That's a trope. You're paying homage to that, whatever.
Yeah.
It's so silly at this point that I'm not even like, nothing could have happened that I would have been like, that's too far.
Yeah.
Because she just had a nonverbal conversation with a shark where a game recognized game, and the shark left her alone.
She just did respect nods with a shark. It was like, just like, and then, ugh.
I think, oh no, Dan in the chat, I just saw a chop up. He just beat me to it. I was going to say, do you think that shark was reincarnated Dom Torino?
He's not dead.
Oh, God, I wish he was. Anyway, he wakes up and hey, fun times for everybody. They're going to live happily ever after. And that's the whole end of the movie.
Yeah. See, I didn't like the line that followed that of how she wakes him up, because she goes, he's like dead in the chair, and she's like, I said that there was nothing on land for me, but I was wrong. You were there. It's like, you've known this guy for 12 hours, maybe. Like,
yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm so desensitized after Ooby Dooby motherfucker, and I'm more of a horror movie fan. How romantic! I'm more of a horror movie fan. But the last 10, 15 minutes of this movie is fucking bonkers.
Just silly, silliness,
but fun.
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, this is far from a masterpiece. This is a mediocre to slightly above even mediocre movie, but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's worth a watch. The performances are good. Like I said, the stunts, the violence and physicality is great. Some of the writing's hot garbage. But honestly, like Zephyr, like I didn't love the delivery of how she, like her dialogue, but I don't want to blame that 100% on her. I think it's also the writing, but like I said, the physical performance is great. And Tucker was a memorable, if not super fucking cringy bad guy.
Yeah. They definitely had probably conversations about like, can we call this Wolf Creek out to sea? And they said no, but then they said, all right, well, what is the equivalent to Wolf Creek? And they're like, well, it's Shark Ocean. They're like, no, that's a terrible title too. So they went with Dangerous.
Shark Ocean is so great. That's kind of like my wife I've never been able to beat this. Every year, we've talked about it on the show, but every year we come up with fake Hallmark Christmas movie titles. And we've been doing it for 10 years and undefeated to this point. A Christmas in December. I mean, you can't. It's just every year I try to top A Christmas in December, and I've never been able to. Never.
Patreon members help Brian win the war in his house of bad Hallmark movie titles. Me beat her. I've come up with some good ones. I remember a couple years ago I had a Small Town Christmas 2: A Big City Christmas. That was like I've had some good ones, some really quality ones, but A Christmas in December is just never ever been touched, unfortunately. So Dan just dropped a holiday in the snow.
A holiday. I mean, that's too good. There probably is one called that, Like sometimes we have come up with ones that we were like, oh, that's funny. And then we're like, Jesus Christ, that is one.
Dumbass Candace Cameron.
Yeah, fucking Candace Cameron Bergen. Well, because now it's Hallmark. It's not only Hallmark, it's the fucking like Christian Nationalist channel, whatever the one that like Winnie Cooper and Candace Cameron Berg, like they were like, Hallmark's too woke for us, so they went to like American Family Channel.
They had a lesbian couple in the background, so we have to tear off against that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's dangerous. Speaking of Candace Cameron Berg, that is Dangerous Animals from 20 and 25. Fun movie, streaming currently on Shudder. Okay, don't forget, we got our Wheel O Ween showdown coming the first Monday in October. So if you've got new Halloween movies, give them to us because we're going to put them on that son of a bitch and wheel. Also, I just like Halloween horror movies. And boy, howdy, I've watched a lot of them. So I'm looking for good ones because there is a lot of dog shit ones out there. And you know what? Never too early to start talking about Thanksgiving horror movies. We are always desperate for Thanksgiving horror movies. Obviously, we got Eli Roth Thanksgiving 2 years ago. Was that 2 years ago? Or was that last year?
I think it was 2 years ago. But yeah, we did that one.
That was fun.
And we did the other one. Yeah. Blood Feast, is it? Or
Blood Feast, or no, Blood. Well, Blood. Thanksgiving, and the other one is this. This isn't cranberry sauce. Is it Blood Feast?
I don't think it is.
It's a Blood Feast is Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Yeah.
Blood Feast.
Fuck.
Hold on. What's it called?
Brains.
Thanksgiving.
It's the one with the twins. We know what it is.
Yeah. It's definitely blood something. Blood Rage.
Blood Rage? Okay.
Yeah, Blood Rage. Yeah, because I was thinking of Blood Harvest, but that's the one with Tiny Tim.
Yeah. Blood Rage.
Blood Rage.
With Louise Lasser.
Yes, if you've got... Yeah.
Thanksgiving 2 this year or next? I bet it's probably next.
Oh, Thanksgiving 2. Yeah, the Eli Roth one. Yeah. Hey, I hope it comes out this year. I enjoyed that. That movie was stupid and mean, and I watched it in the theater, and it was so cold. It was like 45 degrees in the fucking theater that day when I was there. Okay. Anyway, Steven, anything else before we wrap up this here minisode?
Her line right before shooting him with the harpoon gun should have been, looks like there's a bad moon rising.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it should have been, but it could have been.
It should have been. That's what it should have been.
Yeah. Ooby dooby motherfucker. That's tough.
Yeah, you don't do that.
That's tough.
That ooby dooby is the song for your relationship with Moses. Bad Moon Rising is the one we haven't talked about in the movie yet. And that's the way you punish the bad guy. It's like, looks like there's a bad moon rising. You shoot him.
Would be the even better thing is, or he could have said like, you don't seem like a very fortunate son. But no, the better part would have been in which when she was like, ooby dooby motherfucker. He was like, what?
What?
Because he wasn't part of that conversation.
It's like, what?
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Or like Moses just like leaned over out of the corner of his eye and was like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, got him.
Getting shot.
Hell yeah, got him. I just want to see like a bunch of outtakes of her just doing different CCR fucking. It's like, I don't know. It's fucking. It stinks.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking out the back of your chest. I don't know. Instead of looking out my back door because he shot her in the chest. Anyway, guys, fuck me. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
And I'm not the fortunate son.
All right, bye.